my little blue bunnies, and welcome back to another Sim Sundays. I do hope you are doing well and had a wonderful Valentine's Day. I hope you all received lots of love from your partner, family, or friends. Leave down in the comments how you spent your Valentine's Day. I would love to hear all about it. Today's video didn't come with a goal, just a lot of making it up as we went along, but I promised content, so you will get content. We started off the video by making a reclaimed wood table before we took a small gaming break and made 2 more tables before we made a large painting. We sold off this painting right after and started to sell off the mushrooms in our garden for some extra cash. It was time to make another table before we started to game once again, only to remember we didn't have an image of Inky as an adult. We need to make sure we keep a proper documentation of the Sims and cats that live in this household. After all, there will be many more versions of Blue and Inky to come in the future. After taking the image of adult Inky, we put it on the bedroom wall along with the kitten one. While Blue made yet another table for us to sell, I put all the extra images on the wall so she could sell them for extra cash. After a quick run to the bathroom, we went back to, you guessed it, making another wooden table, leveling up our handiness skill to level 4 in the process. Blue then gained creative block after this project, so while she was asleep, we sold off all her wooden creations for a very neat sum, making us a little happier. We then bought a few upgrade parts so that Blue could do something other than woodworking to get her handiness skill up. When she woke up, we did some first-person cooking before having a meal and having a much-needed shower. This led us to doing some kitchen upgrades, as I very much liked the kitchen I had designed and had no plans to change it. But that's when I was confronted with my mistake. I thought you needed kitchen upgrade parts for things like the oven and the fridge, but it turns out I was wrong. I needed electronic upgrade parts, meaning I just wasted a small fortune on items that I can't really use. Oh well, I would just have to deal with it and upgrade what I could for the meantime. Harvest Fest finally came around, which meant that we could gain seed packets for free if we made the visiting gnomes happy. I started by getting Blue to make a grand meal, thinking that she could handle the task. Boy, was I wrong! The girl set the kitchen on fire, meaning we had to waste money on replacing the oven and the neighboring countertop. Not to mention, Blue almost lost her life because the girl wouldn't listen to my instructions to put the fire out. We got her to have a shower after this and calm down before we tried to appease the gnomes so we could gain our seed packets. Unfortunately, Blue gave them both the wrong gift and made them angry at first. But after a little begging, they soon forgave us for our sins, meaning that we weren't going to have a destroyed house as a vengeance. After selling off her vegetables yet again, Blue went to enjoy the first sight of snow before going back to upgrading what she could in her kitchen. This was before I made her sit and read her handiness book, only to discover that it was now too easy for her. So I bought her the second one, which was more to her liking. We then moved the gnomes and headed to sleep before moving seed packets into Blue's inventory. After a nice long sleep, we headed to the bathroom before collecting Inky's rent and having some breakfast. It was time to play some video games and level up the skill for a few hours before going to cook some lunch. I also believe this is around the time I decided we would work on Blue's gaming skills so that she could live stream her gameplay eventually and earn more money through donations. But we had a long way to go before that happened. After food was consumed and mushrooms were sold from the garden, we head into build mode to expand the garden and add more plots of land to grow our new crops on. All while trying to avoid the event sim who was annoying the crap out of our cat-loving introvert. To cheer her up, we went back to gaming and leveled up her skill to level 4 before having a midday snack and a shower. We then noticed that Inky was not well at all, meaning we had to buy a vet examination table to take care of him ourselves. We did gain the veterinarian skill in the process, which we brought up to level 2 by the end of it. Inky was okay, thank goodness. It was back to leveling our gaming skill after this, and we sold off our mushrooms yet again before playing with Inky and taking a much needed rest. It was back to the bathroom when we awoke and back to the grind before the computer gave up on us. I made Blue fix it, but we were then asked if Blue should dislike handiness. I'm sorry, but no, she should not dislike handiness, as she kind of needs it to survive. So we said no to that. We evolved our mushrooms and sold off our onions before going back to gaming and having a quick bathroom break after. It was finally time to make Blue use her brain a little more and research some of the plants in her garden. This action allowed us to level up our gardening skill and fertilize the plants we had so they could grow to a better quality. Better quality means better money for us. After a quick sleep and collecting Inky's rent, it was back to smashing buttons on the computer to get that gaming skill up one more time before we entered our little mascot into some gaming tournaments, something I was honestly excited about. Unfortunately, Blue did lose her first ever gaming tournament, but that was okay. It was her first time after all. We cheered her up by creating and selling 2 more paintings before selling off our onions to the farmer's market and allowing Blue to enjoy the snow for the very first time by making a snow angel and a snowman. This was all before going to the toilet and grabbing something to eat before diving into yet another gaming tournament, which we won this time, giving Blue a much needed boost of confidence. But it doesn't stop there. Blue took some sleep, and when she woke up, it was back to smashing buttons to reach success. We then sold off our lemons and onions before having a nice hot shower. This led us to gaming again until we got the notification that Winterfest was right around the corner. I was then debating if Blue should even speak to Clementine, as she isn't supposed to have visitors, but I figured it wouldn't hurt, as we wouldn't have to speak to him again until next Winterfest. While we waited for Winterfest to come around, we continued to build our video gaming skill, before going out to research more of the plants in our garden. While doing our research, someone did try to talk to Blue, only to make her tense and anxious, as she doesn't like strangers. She has quite literally only met one other person, and that was the adoption agent who sold Inky to us. Blue has thankfully not heard from her since. It was finally time for bed, and when Blue awoke from her slumber, it was finally Winterfest. We hopped into build mode and removed the cat tree before adding our Christmas tree and a pile of presents. After decorating our tree with nothing but blue and white ornaments, Blue takes a present from the pile under the tree to receive a Roomba and Roomba dock. Not a bad gift, and definitely one she would get a lot of use out of. We then collected Inky's rent before leveling up our gaming skill yet again, and being asked if Blue should embrace the self-assured personality trait. We said yes! Why wouldn't we want our girl to be self-assured? We went for some rest, and when Blue woke up to fight some discomforts, Clementine finally entered our home to leave presents under the tree for us. Of course, we weren't going to just accept the gifts under the tree, we were going to ask for one from him directly. So that's exactly what we did, only to receive nothing. Nothing? I was not happy, neither was Blue. I didn't even know Sims could receive nothing as a Winterfest present. We went to the Blue present pile to see if we could get anything of use, only to get a painting easel. We have one already, and it wasn't even a fancy one, just the generic kind. It was sold almost immediately, along with the present pile, and the tree went into storage. The Roomba and the cat tree were put into place when the space was free. It was back to gaming before selling off what products we could from the garden and fertilizing them. I made Blue do some paintings and sold 2 more images before we started getting a call. Then a text from Clementine. Old man, our presents were empty and we are mad, so no. We went to make ourselves some food before going to bed and waking up to enter another gaming tournament. That we of course won. We went back to the bathroom before selling off more homegrown goods before realizing the time. It was coming to the end of the stream, so I decided to keep Blue gaming before we took our end of stream photo out in the snow. It was framed and named before I moved all the images around to make it a little neater. Thank you very much for joining me today, my little blue bunnies. If you have missed episodes 1 through 3, please check them out. If you would like to watch me stream Sim Sundays live, you can catch me here on YouTube from 9:30 p.m. IST to 11:30 p.m. IST. every Sunday. If you are interested in Genshin Impact or Fortnite, I also stream one of those every day at the exact same time. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell, and join the Discord if you are willing. Bye bye!